Hey, Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, aka Man of the People, covering the Carolina Panthers for you all, dedicated fans of this team that has taken us through, I want to say ups and downs, but I'll be honest, this season has been a whole bunch of downs. But nevertheless, always here for you on our day after show. And I'm also joined today by my great co host. This guy goes by the name of, well, let me first say Happy New Year to you, sir.
Happy New Year to you and to your family. I hope you had a wonderful New Year day today. And we're here. We're ready to talk about the roller coaster of emotions that we've been feeling over these past 24 hours.
Yeah, we are back to hosting Mental Health Mondays. We only had 1 week off. We had the 1 week off of Mental Health Mondays. Last week was more fun, but now we're back to Mental Health Mondays. And here's what I'll share to you about my New Year's Eve. When I'm gone, my wife finds it easier if all the kids are in one room. So I could have came home last night and took the time to kind of ruffle feathers and pick up everybody one by one and put them in their respective cribs and beds. But I was like, man, that'd be like the Grinch, right? Like, oh, Dad's home. He called it, kicks his. Anyway, it was great though. I made it
Oh,
home.
so my question for you though, Chris, did you make it home in time before New Year's arrived?
I think I made it back to Charlotte about in the house, maybe 11:52 ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
That,
So
that that's pretty good. I mean, you're right on it, but I mean, that's a little close for comfort there, Chris. Not gonna lie.
it's a little close, but thanks to everyone. I was able to get out of Jacksonville right on the nick of time and get on the road. Didn't run into any congestion. Had to pull over and get some gas and get a bite to eat. But other than that, yeah, 11:52. I made the goal. I was home for the family for New Year's Eve, so it worked out.
It worked out pretty good, and I know your wife and your kids were happy when you got home in time for the new year. That is great to hear.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So let's go ahead and get into the show, man. Let's give some shout outs really quickly. Well, not really quickly. Let's go ahead and give some shout outs. Thomas Frisbee, hey, hey. Hey, Thomas Frisbee got some nice shoes for Christmas, man. Shouts out to him. Supernova, what's going on? Salute back at you. Little looks like that's the salute emoji. I don't know why they cut it
He,
off.
yeah, that's a little weird, but we get the point there in that regard.
And guess what we got here? Guess what we got here?
Hey, hey,
We
hey.
got a member. All right, Knucklehead K saying Happy New Year. Appreciate the Happy New Year back at you. Tim SG saying Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. And let's go ahead and jump on right into it because we got this comment from Thomas. All right. So this show is live for the reason of interacting with you guys. We got about an hour long show. There's a link in the description. I think my man Andre Cassidy will go ahead and pin it in the comments as well. So
You
we
bet.
encourage you and invite you to, yeah, we're going to take the comments as many as we can. But if you click on that link, come on the show. Love it when people come on the show. Let's talk about David Tepper, the owner of the Carolina Panthers, man, and
Woo-wee.
what he's been up to and anything else that you want to talk about. There was a football game yesterday, even though there might as well not have been when you have 0 points, but there was a football game yesterday. But myself, Andre, we're here to answer any questions about football that you all have, especially pertaining to this Carolina Panthers team. So let's go for it.
Let's do it.
Thomas Frisbee says, what if Tepper really wanted to throw the drink at Fitterer, but chose to throw it at the fans?
That would be quite the plot twist. Because, I mean, when you look at Fitterer, that whole 30-second video, Chris, the man did not move. Like he was practically a statue in that moment there. No reaction, no emotion. He was trying to let it not get to him, and I guess that's kind of, what you're trained to do in a situation like this where you kind of just have to act like nothing happened and you just try to move forward. But I mean, how can you not react to your boss, the owner of this team, get into a back and forth with some Jacksonville Jaguar fan who he doesn't know personally and let him get to his skin, under his skin, and then ultimately the fluids that were in said cup ended up in some said person's lap and is the video that's been seen all across the United States and I guess practically the world at this point.
I love your commentary. I love it. He said fluids. Whatever fluids were in that cup.
Whatever it may
Because
be, right?
you won't get Andre on the courthouse for saying, you said there was beer, liquor. I said fluids, people.
Hey, gotta have a general understanding of it. I don't want to be too specific because I don't have insider knowledge of what it was that he had in his cup. But regardless of the fact, there were some fluids and some liquids in that cup.
Hey, let's go ahead and put this on the screen again. I see a lot of people tuning in, which is great. Uh, Everybody that's tuning in, live show, me and myself, Andre, me and myself. That's me twice. Myself and Andre are credentialed members covering the Carolina Panthers. And this show is live for you all to come on and state your questions, vent, whatever it may be that you need to do. Let's go ahead and show for those who may not have seen the video. We're going to play it a few times. I haven't done this before with my screen sharing, so if I mess up a time or two, just be patient, but we're going to go ahead and look at there. I messed up already. There we go. That looks good to me.
All right.
Let's see if we can go ahead and play it. So we're going to play this a few times, all right? And we're going to play it a few times because I know everybody may not have watched it, and you need to know what to look for to see the video. So let me go ahead and put it back on the screen, and I'm going to start it, but I'm going to try to pause it at the very beginning. Let's see here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pause this. So here's what you'll want to do. I don't know if you guys can see my mouse, but you see Scott Fitterer, kind of the most obvious person on the right-hand side that's standing up. You do not see David Tepper yet in this video. What you're going to see, though, if you keep your eye right here where Fitterer is on that right-hand side, David Tepper is going to appear there, and you're going to see the action that he does. Now, keep in mind, it's really quick. Look at Andre. He's like, oh, it's close up to the screen. I got you, Andre.
Hey, it's film study, man. Film study. Classic example of film study right here. I got to have my full attention, my face to the screen when I'm doing it.
He didn't know I was coming back to the view of us. But what you're going to see is Tepper, just for a second, throw the cup. It's going to be hard for you to see it, actually. I don't have the ability to slow-mo this down, but you'll see him putting it back up, and then you'll see him walk away. So here is the video for you all to view. All right, here we go. Now watch that right-hand side. All right, so we're going to do it one more time, and I'm going to give you some narration just one last time, all right? So there you go. Tepper's going to be appearing on the right-hand side by Fitterer. Now, there's a longer video that's out there, but it's been more than 24 hours, so I couldn't really easily get it in time. But you also see this gentleman that's at the front. And again, I don't know if you guys can see my cursor. There's a gentleman that's in front of Fitterer. And to me, I don't know this, but he seems like he may be a security guy of some sorts. And then right in front of them, you're going to see the Jaguars fan. And then after things happen, you'll see this, who I'm going to say, I'm assuming, seems like a security guy, walk up, get on the phone. Fitterer does eventually move. Again, in this clip, you're not going to see it, but Fitterer does eventually move. And Tepper, after he appears to throw the drink, he walks away. So here you go, last time showing the video or commentary. So you see the guy here, see on the left, he's throwing the cup. He kind of like, oh crap. Now this guy goes to move, like what's happening? And then the fan goes to jump up on the suite and kind of yell a little bit. Again, there's a longer video that I saw yesterday, could not find it today, but the guy kind of comes up some more. He's fussing and yelling, eventually gets back off his seats, the fan, and goes back to, I assume, watching the game. Federer does eventually move. Now, does he ever show much emotion? No, he does not. But
No.
Federer does eventually uh, turn around and go to walk away. So we're going to talk about this with you guys. All the comments that you get in here, we're all for it. Me and Andre are going to have some fun going back and forth. So the first thing I'm going to pick on with Andre is he said, why is Federer, I think he kind of said this, right? Why is Federer just sitting there letting your boss go crazy, right?
Right.
So here's the other angle I ask you to think about, Andre. It's not just like your boss, your manager, like our relationship, right? You still feel like we're still pretty two even guys, right?
Right. Right.
But let's say I'm worth $20 billion. Let's say you know that I could buy a city, buy a state, buy an island. I got private planes. I'm like an extremely powerful man. One of the top in the league for sure, right? So there's a whole lot of power that comes with me. I'm deciding to kind of go a little bit crazy. You might have already said like, hey, yeah, right? But if I keep going, are you really going to come to me, maybe try to grab me and push me away or do anything really strong? You're probably, I'm thinking, going to be like, man, I'm not getting in the middle of this. You got more than enough money to get yourself out of it. You know what you're doing. I'm not going to get fired for, whatever. And just, hey, I just got to watch this one. You're $20 billion, not 20 million, not 200 million, 20 billion. You own a franchise. You own hedge funds. You're extreme. So anyway, I think for that reason, it's kind of like, I'm just going to
I
sit here.
mean, yeah, he's in such an interesting position, Scott Fitterer, because look at the long term view, right? He's expected to get fired at the end of this season. So you do kind of have to think at the back of your mind, like whatever he does, I feel like is not going to have an impact on future, ramifications, if you will. So he's kind of just saying, screw it at this point. I don't want to get involved. And if I do even try to get involved, I don't want to get in the middle of something that could become more chaotic, right? I mean, it's already chaotic as is. I mean, you're dealing with a guy who is one of the richest owners in the NFL. And the fact that he threw a cup at a fan, that's already going to be top headlines and top storylines that are going to be covered in the national media. And to add kerosene to the fire, if you try to do something just out of the ordinary to try to, in your intention to, de-escalate the situation and then it backfires on you, well, then you're in the middle of an even bigger situation that could get even more out of hand. So, I mean, it's funny we make fun of Fitterer for not having a reaction, but I think in that situation there, what else are you supposed to do in that situation but just stand there and act like nothing happened? Because again, you do not want to add any more fuel to that fire that's already engulfed at that point.
Hey, so again, Andre and I are going to continue to chop this up. Comments are welcome, but we also really want somebody to click on that link, come on the show, talk with us, let us know your thoughts about the topic of Tepper and what he did yesterday. Here's something I'll throw at you, right? By him not reacting and reacting the way he did, I feel like that's a double entendre or something like that. You're the guy with
Right.
all the big words. I don't know if entendre is the right one, but I like using it in this case. So if you look at that video and you say, hey, he didn't do anything, we don't know where this is going to go in the sense that we don't know if the guy that's the fan, who I'm sure his phone has blown up maybe just a few times since then, but
I would imagine, right?
at the least from some attorney, right? At the least, to say, hey, I got a proposal for you. Complain, I'll represent you. Give me 10%. We're going to get something out of this. But
Exactly.
if this does go like a legal route for anything from the Jacksonville fan filing a complaint against Tepper, which yes, it could be in most states considered an assault, because it wasn't requested attention from Tepper. It wasn't requested, unless he requested, hey, throw a drink on me. He assaulted him by touching him with liquids, as Andre likes to refer to it. But Fitterer if this goes to a legal route for the guy from Jacksonville, he could say, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't see it. In that video, you can't say where he was looking. He's just
Hmm.
looking straight.
Straight ahead.
And when it happens, he doesn't go, he doesn't go, he just continues to look straight. And then he walks out. Right? So he could have did himself a solid by saying, hey, if this goes to court all day, I didn't see it. Did you
It
hear?
was out
Yeah.
of the corner of my eye
Yeah.
kind of deal.
Did you hear something? Yeah, I hear something. But you're at a stadium with 70,000 people. I hear stuff constantly the whole time. I don't know who's saying what. I'm at a game, watching the game. I'm locked
So
in
you're
on the
telling
G.
me you're telling me you didn't see that cup fly in front of you when it was thrown? Oh,
If
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
looking at it, well, he never threw the cup. He just threw the liquid.
Right, right.
The cup stayed there. So I could say, like, yeah, I, I'm looking at the field here. This happened over there. I didn't see it. I'm sorry. I'm the GM, locked in, tunnel vision. Hey, we got
And
we got some. Go ahead.
let me just say this too, real quickly. At the very end of the video, right, you see Tepper. I don't want to say storm off, but we'll say walks off rather angrily, right? He had a lot of force when he slammed that cup onto the table there. So I mean, there definitely was some built up anger, and obviously so with the on the field product being 2-14. But I mean, you watch that video and you're for one disappointed, and it's completely unacceptable for a guy who is basically on an AARP plan at the age of 66, a grown man acting like a foolish child. Like that's the first aspect of it, right? But the second aspect of it is like, this is mad funny, man. I've never seen Tepper get that mad and look that angry. And you're over here like, I'm not even afraid of that. That just looks freaking hilarious to me. Like there's no fear. If that was supposed to instill some fear in somebody, that's not how I interpreted it. I found it rather entertaining to say the least.
You're talking about Fitterer, his response still?
No, no, no. With Tepper like getting mad and then storming off, I would have just laughed in that situation there. I wouldn't even I wouldn't have any sense of fear or apprehension there. I would just be entertained and just laughing in his face in that kind of
See,
situation. If I
see,
was in that Jacksonville fan's perspective.
unfortunately, Andre, that means you're going to be in court right along with Tepper, and they're going to be like, we need some damages from this guy because he's probably egging it on. Look how much he's laughing. Look how
It's
much.
skating the whole thing.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get this guy, Thomas, on. We
Oh
also got
man.
Knucklehead K and Q. So again, we want to have fun, man. This
Let's
season's been
do
so
it,
tough,
man.
right? We're going to talk about some facts, but we also really would like for you guys to click on that link in the description. It's also pinned in the comments. Come on the show. Tell us your comments. Tell us your thoughts. Ask us a question. Thomas Frisbee, go.
What's up, guys?
Happy New Year.
Happy
Happy
New
New Year
Year,
to
man.
y'all. You know, when I saw that clip of the whole water, whatever drink it was, at first I'm like,
I think
he
Andre
probably.
now has us all not wanting to say what we think it could have been, right? We're just going to say liquid.
Well, I mean, if it was something else, I mean, would he really want to throw it? Or maybe after having a few, maybe the drink didn't taste that good. I don't know. But I mean, honestly, the way Federer looked, I'm like, maybe he thought that was going to be thrown at him. But but the thing is, it's like if that's the case, Tepper has his own self to blame because he's the one that hired Fitterer. He hasn't gotten rid of him, so that's probably why maybe he threw it because he's probably mad he still has the clown on his staff. But I mean, the thing is, it's like once again, yeah, we're talking about Carolina getting their doors blown off, but once again, the owners in the headlines for something he does with his antics, proving that he's turned this team into the laughing stock of the league. And out of the three most embarrassing years, 01, 2010, and this year, because I think I was in junior high in 01, that at least that team was competitive. 2010 was bad, but this one just takes the cake as by far the worst team that I have ever seen. And I've been a fan for about 20 something years. And it's just awful. But that whole drink thing, it's like, I don't know. He has his own self to blame at this point. I don't know if anybody else sees it, but I don't know. He he just needs to go. I mean, this ain't a fireable offense, but like if the league fined him like 500,000 or $1 million, that's just some change. He doesn't care. I
Yeah.
mean, he just needs he just needs to take a look hard at himself in the mirror. But he can admit his faults all he wants. But until he improves himself, this team's going nowhere.
Hey, Thomas, does this reveal anything to you about who our owner is? Like, is there a new revelation after seeing this, or does it cement any other ideas that you had about him?
I don't know. I mean, at first, I was a welcome arms. Hey, new guy has the money. Maybe he'll improve the team. But it's like he wants to be a Jerry Jones. Has all this money, has his say in everything, but he has no clue what he's doing. It's like he wants to hire all these people that knows what they're doing, but then changes his mind. It's like you hire these people to scout, let them do the job. You hire these coaches, let them do their job. Take a step back. Be like one of those owners. We don't know your name. We don't hear of you. I'd rather have that. It's like you can't really name it. I couldn't name maybe more than 5 owners in the league because you don't hear of them. Until
Yeah,
he does that, I mean, it's not going to get any better. I mean, congratulations. You don't have a first round draft pick. You are by far the worst team in the league.
that would
But
be us. Hey, I
I
appreciate.
don't
Did you have
know.
anything else?
I just want to be optimistic going into the game for their last game. But with Tampa Bay having to sense to win to get in,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I thought maybe by then they would have it clinched to where Carolina could win it, but
Hey, that will be their get right game, Tampa Bay,
I
when
was
they
just gonna
play
say,
Carolina.
well, especially with Mike Evans, it's like they can never cover Mike Evans, so it's like they'll just throw it to 13 the entire game. But I don't know. Hopefully, the off season will bring a little more cheerfulness, and we can start anew all over again, like we've been doing.
Hey, Thomas, thank you so much for calling in. I got to get to this other guy that's been waiting so patiently, but Happy New Year to you. Appreciate you calling
Happy New
in.
Year, man.
See you later.
All right, we're going to go to our next guest who's been patiently waiting. But again, there's a link in the description as well as in the comments. Let's have some fun, man.
Let's
This
do
team
it.
is 2-14. Not a lot of good things to talk about. Unfortunately, a lot of bad things to talk about. But I think this one has a lot of legs to it. So I believe
Hmm.
this is a first time caller right here. Are you first time
No,
calling
it's
in?
it's it's the second. It's the second.
Yo, yep. You know what?
Okay.
I can't see your face, but when I hear your voice, I do know that it's the
Yeah,
second because you're driving, right?
I'm in the truck. No, I'm not driving. I got a co-driver, but I am definitely on the road in Louisiana.
Okay.
All right.
On the road
So
again.
I was that part. uh, First off, I want to say thank you, you guys, for doing what you do. For somebody like me that's on the road a lot,
Uh huh.
being able to see the content, it helps out a lot. Not being able to actually watch the game. Um,
Well, thank you so
Also, I'm gonna just
kindly.
rapid fire my questions off,
Yeah.
cause I got like a couple of them. First off, is it true that instead of just him facing fines, that they can actually take our second round pick this year and or multiple picks instead of him just facing a fine? Do you think that this is gonna impact our coaching hire since we're looking for a coach? And also, do you think that's gonna cause a change within the coaching staff that's already within the building? Do you think they're gonna not want to stay with us?
Knucklehead K with some extremely great questions. You got to
They
call in more
were.
often. I
Yeah.
like it. I like it. Was that it?
Yeah, that's it. That's all I got for you guys. I just want to say good luck with 2024. I hope it comes with a lot of growth and grace for you guys, and continue to do what you're doing, guys.
Hey, many blessings to
Likewise to you,
you.
man.
Have fun on the road. I was in Louisiana about 3 weeks ago, but I saw the Saints beat us up, so it wasn't fun. I wasn't making any money, but hopefully you're enjoying it. And thanks again so much. Happy New Year to you.
And safe travels to you
Same
as
to you
well, my
guys.
friend.
I like that. I like. You know what? You know what she deserves.
Man,
She deserves one of these right
yeah.
here. You know, while I was
And
in,
they were hard hitting questions too,
they were
like straight to the point kind of questions as well.
yeah, but so I want to say sincerely, anytime that somebody says, "Hey, I appreciate what you guys do," or "Hey, I watch you," down in Jacksonville the other day, it was everybody probably knows about the Roaring Ride, the fan club. They travel pretty
Yep.
well. It was some members from the Roaring Ride, and this gentleman had waved at me, and I'm like in my world trying to get stuff together, and I'm like, I don't know if he was talking to me because I don't know who he is. So I went
Right.
back to what I was doing, and then I saw him again. And I was like, me? And he said, yeah. So I go over there, and first of all, I'm always impressed with the demographics of our followers, supporters. I like to call you guys. It was an older
Yes.
gentleman that was there, and he said, "Hey, I've been following you guys for a while. Keep up what you're doing. I'm seeing the growth that you're doing. I'm seeing the commitment." And though I love what I do, I'm sure Andre loves being with me. It is some
Yes.
grinding moment on game. I mean, there's like it's one of those things that once you're done, a lot of times we can say, "Oh, that was kind of cool," but like when
Right.
you're in it, it is like it's a bigger grind than I ever thought it would be. So thank you all so much for whenever you're able to share some kind words.
Yeah, man. And, that's why we do it for everybody out there. And, for Quentin, I mean, in his situation there where he's constantly on the road, that's part of the equation too, where you don't have the luxury of being able to watch football games on Sunday. And the fact that he's able or she's able to go and tune into our content and basically use that as a resource for her to gather information about the team. I mean, that's what it's all about, you guys. And we do it for all of you. And whenever we have the opportunity to interact with all of you guys at the game or just in public, wherever it may be, I mean, it truly is humbling and it truly is a privilege to be able to do this whenever we have the opportunity to do so.
All right, so two guys that wear their heart on their sleeve. We'll get back to it before you guys. What are these
Right.
softies on the TV talking about? I want to hear about some blood and guts and stuff
Right.
type stuff.
I want the
All right, so let's go
negativity.
ahead and go over her questions. Changes
Yes.
within the current coaching staff. So that's going to be just because of the fact that we got less than a week left with this thing.
Right.
You're in the home stretch. It's kind of like I don't care what's happening. Anybody can put on their Scott Fitterer and just sit there and be like, I just got to make it till Sunday. 6 more days, right? They have
Right.
off today, which is Monday, due to the holiday. They have off tomorrow, so they don't even have 6 days. They got I don't know how you're good at math. They don't have a lot of days left.
Really just 3 work days, right?
Three
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right?
in the game day, right? Which
Yep.
you could pack up at the start of work if you want, so you can get right on out of there as soon as the
Go to
game is over.
Cancun right after that, right?
So no changes within the current coaching staff. Now, she asked about how do you feel like this may impact the coaching hire? Andre, I'll let you start with that one, unless you want to throw it back to me.
It definitely impacts it negatively for Carolina. I mean, first of all, Carolina is already in a position where they don't really have a whole lot of leverage because of where they're at right now. They're the worst team in the NFL, and you got an owner who meddles constantly on a day by day basis, which doesn't provide any benefit for folks who are trying to go in and do their job and try to figure things out. So, I don't think it negatively impacts it too much, but it definitely does raise some eyebrows to potential candidates. And they're going to ask that question themselves and look in the mirror and be like, hey, do I really want to work with an owner whose antics and whose off the field distractions take away from what we're trying to do on the field? And so, that's definitely going to be something that, guys like Ben Johnson are going to think about. If they're going to try and bring in Jim Harbaugh from Michigan, is he willing to go out of his way to deal with some of the dysfunction that's happening upstairs? And it's concerning to see Tepper act out in the way that he is because this has already been a noisy season for the team off the field. And so, you look at it and you say, hey, it's something to be mindful of if you're considering this position. but I don't think it'll add too much negativity to it because, again, you're just looking at it from afar, the whole situation there. And again, the one individual that is on your radar continues to be on your radar because of instances like yesterday.
All right, and we got a caller waiting, so hopefully you'll continue to patiently wait. I got one more that I'm gonna go through. I'm also trying to triple task here, so if you guys kind of see me looking all around, I'm just trying to get a lot of stuff together. I actually had the ability to talk with David Tepper before the game, and I'm still gonna play this
Yes.
for you. It's pretty cool, but this, I mean, it's kind of just like wow. I want a chance to share with you guys like a little sequence of the day, and then just try to figure out like where he might be mentally. And I'm not saying the guy's like deranged or need to go check himself in, but just like
He's got a lot on his mind, Chris.
yeah, like where emotionally is he at with this whole I'm the owner of this franchise that's going through all this crap, right? Because a little bit when I share with you like the sequence of the day, I feel like he has these two things. Let me get a little. I can't get in all the way on the screen. These two things on his shoulder, right? And it's like a good and a bad. And he's like, there. It's like this battle that's going on within him
Right.
to pick the
Constant
right
tug of
one.
war.
Yeah, because it seems like he's trying to do the right thing. It really does. But it just seems like he's trying to do the right thing, and then all of a sudden that other one off the other side just jumps up and it ruins it for him. But let me go through these few more questions. Then we got Quentin that's waiting in the green room,
Oh my
and
God. I'm looking at
then
the
we got
comments,
Shaquille.
Chris.
Yeah,
I just saw a comment and somebody just called David Tepper David Temper.
he's a lot. He's a lot. All right, so we're going to promise to stick to the schedule of 2 minutes so that we
Yes.
can go through these because I like that the calls are coming in. I appreciate everybody that's calling. Also, if you're watching, please stay tuned because I want you to see the clip of me talking to David Tepper yesterday prior to the Jacksonville Jaguars game. All right, find Quentin, I'm sorry, Knucklehead K had talked about find or can they take picks or multiple picks away from him. So
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about this one. So fines, absolutely. They could fine him, suspend him. They could suspend him. And yes, they could take away picks. Each one of those have different levels of, I don't know, approvals and steps. I mean, that they would have to go through. Yes, they could even make him sell the team. But again, each one of those have different nuances for them to take place where you could say, well, what of them are likely? Him getting forced to sell the team. I know people are pissed off and feel like this could be a springboard for that. That's pretty not likely. I'm thinking all these words in my head that are like negative, negative, negative.
Not realistic.
It ain't gonna happen, right? And we could talk about that more if we have time, but it's not going to happen because he has to have all these other owners. I think 24, maybe 26, but he has to have all these other owners say, yeah, he
Right.
deserves to be off. And for this offense, though you don't like it, especially if you're a Carolina Panthers fan, it's nothing super egregious. And some people are like, what? It's not. They've had owners get into so much more trouble with fans and other things than David Tepper has, and they're still they're still owning the team. The only thing, if you look at it in professional sports, that typically gets you voted out by the other owners, because it's a few people that could even get into this circle anyway. Few people, and they're all owners. And I can tell you, as the owner of a small business, I'm never gonna quit my business. I'm never gonna be like, oh, I'll let somebody. No, I'm not. It's gonna have to be extreme. So if they start letting the standard be, oh, somebody did something looks bad for the league, fire 'em. No, it's not gonna
It's a
happen.
bad precedent.
Very, very bad. So he's not going to get voted out by the other owners. Picks. I mean, that's pretty made. Oh, let me go back because I'm trying to go quickly. Things that get owners kicked out of their leagues are sexual misconduct, typically, or racism. And
Yep.
this one doesn't fall into either one of those. I'm not here to say it should or shouldn't. I'm just saying I like to give you guys expectations. Sexual misconduct or racism. This one did not fall into any of those, so I don't feel like it has any chance whatsoever of other owners voting them out. Let's go to the picks, multiple picks. Yeah, But again, it was a drink, you know, and in the world of assault, what this could be under, it's the least type of assault there is. I mean, technically, if I push Andre and he didn't ask me to push him, that's assault. You know, we can go to court about it, and it's probably going to be like a $500 fine or something, slap on the wrist. It's going to be something minor. So let's go to fines. Yes, it will absolutely result in a fine. Suspension, I don't even know if it would result in a suspension. You know, if players can get into trouble of much more degrees than this, and they just have to go to counseling, I'm pretty sure that he's not going to get a suspension either. But I would say a fine, and I forget the exact owner. I think he gave somebody the bird. I don't know if you remember right now off the top of your head, Andre, but this was at least 10 years ago. He got a $250,000 fine for that. So, yeah, you could expect that to double $500,000 or $1 million fine for David Tepper. And, you know, that's it. So, thanks for that, Knucklehead K. Hopefully that gives you some insight. Patiently waiting, and now on the screen is my man, Young Thug.
What's going on, man?
From the church to the thug.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is not
Hey,
Young
what's up,
Thug
man?
for all the rap artists out there. This is my man, Pastor Troy. I mean, I'm sorry. Gosh, darn, all these jokes are
Pastor Troy.
This is Quentin. Hopefully you enjoyed the interview.
Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Good. How are you doing, man?
Hey, we hanging in, man.
I knew what it was. I don't think I'm the thug when you were the one that was bossing Tepper around yesterday. Hey, get over here. Hey, get around here, doofus. Hey, doofus. The camera's over here, doofus. I said, oh my goodness, come on, Chris. Calm down, Chris.
That's set the stage for what was gonna happen later in the day.
Had him in a bad mood all day. And then he thought about he said, wait a minute. That guy bossed me around earlier today. It was great.
Oh man!
Hey, I'm gonna play the video that Quentin's talking about. If you guys did see my interaction with Tepper, good comeback jokes at me, man. Touche.
Hey, I got on here just because of that. I wanted to get on there yesterday, but you were getting off. But it was awesome, and that whole interaction was awesome. Even your facial expressions and everything, man. And you could tell he felt a little like this because he's like, "Where's the camera? Where's the camera?"
Dude, he was so lost too. Like he was like, wait, where am I supposed to go? Am I supposed to wave at the crowd? No, you're supposed to wave at the camera that's right in front of your face, man. What are you doing? You should know this.
Hey, but on a serious note though, hey man, a standard has to be set because if it had been anybody else, like one of the lowly paying patrons such as myself, I'm going for a year or so. I think we can't get him and Chris in a room by themselves for a few minutes. So we probably should just do something else because there's no suspension. I don't think that's good because Nicole's going to be, it'll be just like he never left. Nicole's going to be just as much in there. But I think the healthy fine and just him, being humbled a little bit. I would love if all the owners got together and, voice some opinions about how it's being ran. But yeah, that's all I got, man. Hey, thank you guys for everything you do. I want to say that every time. Appreciate it, guys, and keep pounding.
Hey, appreciate you much, man. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Andre, I'm going to be coming back on in just a second.
Okay.
My fancy camera went out, so I'm going to have to go
man.
to the...
Did Tepper do some meddling over there? Your home setup? Man, almighty.
I did not have a chance to look, and I'm going to be looking at the regular camera, so let me look in here. I did not have a chance to charge the batteries.
No.
Immediately following the game to drive back, and I forgot to charge it today. But hey, appreciate all the interaction. Appreciate the likes. We got more likes than we got watchers. You know what? I'm going to set the standard that it's going to be a 1-to-1 ratio, right? If there's 100 people watching, I want 100 likes. I think that we earn that. We're good. We interaction. We offer you whatever you want to talk about. We're here to talk about it with you. So just do me that favor. Hit that like button. It'll help other Panther fans continue to discover our channel. And hey, Tepper might make it a routine to stop by and wave during my pregame show. I also had Thomas Brown stop by for a second.
That's right.
Fitter's still on the list. I've been talking to Fitter, but we kind of keep missing. But nevertheless, let me go ahead and my man is on the clock. He's been patiently waiting. He needs no introduction.
Hey.
But
Go for it, man.
Hey guys,
You got
Hey,
two.
hey, Andre. Hey, Chris. So I didn't get to watch that video, Chris, but I remember last year Tepper was in your camera against the Seahawks. So he probably know you, just like Cam Newton know you and said you're a nice guy. So probably Tepper know you also. But anyway, I mean, here's the deal. Tepper was at fault for throwing the cup, but why is there not audio? I mean, to me, that raised a red flag that the fan said something. To to make Tepper do that, of course, Tepper, the owner, should never do that. But where's the audio? Why there is no audio? And also, why you're recording this? So my suspicious, this was not like just something that happened within a second. So it probably happened throughout the game. Probably the fans said something to Temple that we cannot say on the air, which of course Temple should have called security and escorted the fan out. But at the same time, the fan not having audio and recording it, to me, it looked fishy and red flag, almost like the fan want something to happen so he can get a lot of money. I don't know about you guys, but this is my take. Of course, Tepper is wrong for doing what he did, but I also put a lot of the blame on the fan.
Hey, happy New Year to you, man. Good to see you.
Good seeing you, man.
You too, you
Yeah.
too, and I guess it's 2024, so we don't talk about this team anymore being 2-14 and all of that. That was 2023. So
Yeah, that was
my
last year,
prediction,
man.
yeah, my prediction. I don't know if we will beat the Bucks, but we will play much closer than we did on Sunday. And also the weather right now can be a factor. So it will be fantastic to send Baker Mayfield on vacation to Hawaii or somewhere else instead of going to the playoff.
Thank you, Shackhead.
Sure.
Good seeing you, man.
So shouts out to Quentin, or I'm sorry, Knucklehead K for saying down here, Chris, because I keep looking up here. Because yes, I appreciate it because I'm used to looking here, but my other camera went out, so I got to look down here. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Muscle memory, man.
It is entirely muscle memory. So let's go ahead and play this clip. Let me see if I have it together. I do. So this clip is for everybody that missed the interaction yesterday. This is my interaction with owner, rich man, billionaire. You know, there was a lot of money in that picture before he came, but when he came in, it just, just took it over the top. But also, let me,
Right.
darn it, I was about to look here. This is hard for me looking down here. But in regards to security, trust me, David Tepper never has to call security. when you're worth 20 billion, security is always
Everywhere.
always with you. And you'll actually see some of his security staff. When you look at this video, actually, just look at all the guys that when I'm talking to them, that are not moving. And then
They
look at
just
all the
stand
guys
there.
that when he moves, they move. So trust me, he does not have to call security for any kind of help. Nicole, I'm sure, does not either. Here we go. Tepper that's going to walk by. Let me see if I'm going to get him to wave. David Tepper's going to wave. Just get a wave?
What?
I just want to get a wave.
Want me to wave like this?
Oh, there you go.
No, just to the camera, Dave. Right, you're at the wrong side.
No.
You gotta just come back on
He
this.
wants to be your cameraman.
Just a wave right there. That's all I want.
Now you're asking too much. Why don't you go back there and wave and I'll talk here. Go ahead, you wave.
All right.
It gets funnier and sweeter every time I see that, man. Seriously, though, that was genuinely a kind-hearted moment from Tepper, though. There was no malintent whatsoever. It was all in good spirit for everybody out there who was watching that.
Yeah, and you know what I like to point out? And thanks, Shaqued, for being such a loyal viewer. Because my wife said the same thing. She said, didn't you have an interaction with him before? I'm like, no, I didn't. But what happened was last year when we were out in Seattle, I was doing my live shot, and it was actually near his suite. And when he came out, him and Nicole just both like kind of stared at the camera. I'm looking at the wrong camera again. Stared the camera down as they walked by, and they walked by behind me pretty quickly. I'm going to safely assume he does not remember because I'm just another person with a camera.
Right.
He flies to all the games, but yeah, um, it was cool, and it was funny with the interaction with him yesterday that he was just like totally not understanding what I was wanting him to. And I could say maybe in his defense because I know Shakir likes to go all over the place with conspiracies and things, but
Right.
the camera that I use is pretty small. It's a professional camera, but it's I don't know, big as my hand, right? So
Right.
maybe he was just not used to looking for the big old CBS cameras where the guys holding
Right.
it with something. But it was cool, and I said I want to give you guys a little bit of the day and why I think that Tepper may be struggling with doing things differently and maybe how he's used to doing them and how I feel like he does want to do well. I really feel like he does. And then just that other thing jumps off his shoulder and he's not the person that he should be in order to be an owner that leads his team in the right direction that they should be. So that was the interaction that you saw with me and Mr. Tepper before the game. Now, if he was a shrewd, mean kind of guy, he wouldn't have never stopped. He could have rolled his eyes, could have just done this, but he didn't. He stopped. And even when we had the miscommunication, he kind of stayed there for a second and
Right.
engaged. And then he went on. So I really appreciate that. And to me, that says, like, this is a decent guy. And then let me tell you what he did before that. Before he came to me, you might have saw me kind of glance off screen. He was interacting with fans that was at the game, signing some autographs or waving or coming up to them and talking. And then I actually had a picture that I hope is the right one. Let me make sure I find it properly. Let's see if I can do this properly. Yeah. So I have this picture here. Man. Okay, I don't know why that's the right picture, but let me move this picture on the screen. So I don't know if you guys have seen this out there or not, but this is a guy that was at the game in Jacksonville yesterday. It says 2-13. I never missed a game. My photographer, Patrick Snyder, never misses a great photograph. So this guy was at the game yesterday. There is video out there of David Tepper coming up to this guy and talking to him for a second, pregame. And now I didn't see it. I just happened to have the picture. But those are some of the events that I know took place yesterday. Tepper talking with fans. Tepper going back and talking to this guy who had 2-13 signed. Tepper coming and talking to me, albeit for a split second, but he talked to me before he went. And so you had this happen with the drink throwing thing, and I feel like that was the bad Dave on his other shoulder
Right.
that just jumped out and is pissed off because he spent so much money. His team is, I'm not justifying anything, but his team is terrible. His team is the laughingstock. And when you have so much money and he has had tremendous success, you're not used to not being able to blunt force something into what you want it to be, right? Like he could be having a house built that's $1 million house and say, oh, this screw is off, and say, you know what? I'll throw another $1 million at it. Sir, you want to say, yeah, I want you to tear it down, start over, and make it. This thing with running the Carolina Panthers is not one of those things that he could just throw money at and everybody publicly gets to watch it. And I'm sure he's not used to publicly being able to watch so many people, have so many people watch him as he's trying to figure out something and trying to get it right. Again, not a justification, but just some more thought about what went on, etc. All right, so I got to give my man Andre Cassidy some time to talk. And we've had lots of people come on. I appreciate it very much. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button, subscribe if you have not already subscribed. Help us get to 10,000 members. And Andre, I'm going to let you be the guy that leads trying to go through as many of these comments as we can within the next 10 minutes, all right? So I'm going to drink my water, even though you're going to be doing a lot of talking. You may want to drink your water for a second.
I think I'm good. I mean, I had a pretty good dinner before this live broadcast. I think we're as energized as we're going to be here at the 7:51 hour here
All
in
right.
Charlotte.
So let me find the comments, and I'm just gonna start throwing them out there.
Okay.
Tim Estes, Tepper looked faster than D-Jack after he threw that drink. What a coward.
Oh wow. That's quite the comparison right there. But yeah, I mean, he did have some quick shifty moves after the throwing down of the cup there.
Matt H, will we be successful while Tepper owns the team?
I think down the road there is a potential, but there has to be some internal changes in how he manages the day-to-day operations of this team. I feel like with him meddling and with him being as involved as he is, he's got to take a look back and look at the results and realize, hey, maybe, just maybe, I just take a step back. We know he cares. We know he is an invested individual with this team, but you have to empower the people who you put in power in these positions. And I think right now he has failed in that aspect, and that's what's holding this team back.
Mike Long says, you think Bryce got hurt yesterday when he had that hit and had to leave? Actually, I don't think he missed any plays, did he? Because that was
He
like
didn't
fourth
miss any
down.
plays because he was there on the next drive, so he didn't miss any actual plays in the game. But I do feel like it definitely impacted his ability to throw the ball. It was a lower back injury from what it looked like, so it definitely had some impact in what he was able to do. But he was in the game for the rest of it, and he didn't seem too impacted by it, but it did have some psychological impact, I feel like, as well, in how he played.
Shaked comes back and said, hey guys, so Tepper was wrong, but I must admit I do find the red flag that there is no audio.
Yeah, he did say that in his call in there about there not being any audio with the video. So it is something to take note. Maybe a little conspiracy theory that Shaked likes to bring up a lot, but it definitely is interesting that there wasn't any audio to back up what was being shown out there.
Hey, and I will very quickly say this because I'm going to toss these up to Andre so we can get through a lot of these comments because we really
Yeah.
appreciate the comments. We just got a super chat, so I'm going to get to reading that as well.
Okay.
Anybody knows once you get money that there's traps out there waiting for you. So even if this was some kind of setup and some kind of trap, even the players themselves know about the traps once they sign their contracts about people who may just want money for 100 million reasons. So could it have been a trap? Sure. Absolutely.
Absolutely. 100%.
Should he have been able to avoid that trap? In this case, heck yeah.
Yes.
All right, moving on. This is an outrage. The punishment he should receive is to sell the team. Only seems fair. The fan base won't be against it. I know you're going to answer this. I'm going to let you answer this, but he's right. The fan base would absolutely not be against it. Go, Andre.
We would not be against it at all, but I mean, it's something that is more than likely not going to happen. If anything, he's probably going to get a pretty hefty fine for the throwing of the cup and the throwing of the fluids. But I mean, otherwise than that, I don't think anything else will come from what took place yesterday.
Ali Bodrick says maybe David Tepper needs to come on this live and get some Monday therapy.
Oh, there you go. Mental Health Monday, David Tepper. We're going to be your Dr. Phil here for the next hour. Feel free to come on whenever, next week, during the off season. We're here for you, man. We're here for you.
Again, I'm going to make my comment super quick. You know, he has a thing for Scott Fowler that works for the Charlotte Observer.
Yeah, he sure does.
And I hadn't had a chance to read it, but Scott already wrote an article about David Tepper and his issues. So friends with all the media out there. So if you like the interaction, if you heard of Scott Fowler and how him and Tepper go back and forth, you'll probably want to log on to the Charlotte Observer when we all get off of here and see how Scott, I'm sure, let him have it pretty good.
All right.
Continue to move on. We can't have the owner being a jack butt on top of being a butt at running a football team. Absolutely. That's a lot of butts out there. And
Facts. Can't mix the two together, right?
Richard, fearing is not a good look. This is shameful and childish act regardless. Absolutely, yes, it is.
100%. Unprofessional at the very least.
How can a 66-year-old man behave like a child like this?
It is childlike behavior. No, there's no doubt about it. He should know better. He's been in the spotlight and in public life, or in in the public sphere for many, many years. He should know better than that.
Sell the team.
Not going to happen, but I can see where you're coming from there. A lot of people share that same sentiment.
I had more hope in 20. I'm sorry. Let me try to make this a little bigger. Give me a second here. Andre messed this up. Anyway, you can try to blame stuff on Andre. Trust me, Andre is a huge, tremendous asset to Charlotte Vibe, and the banner that we have back and forth is just our little dynamic
Right.
of yin and yang. But I'm hoping you guys continue to support the channel so I can lock down Andre Cassidy on one of those baseball contracts, something like 2 years,
Yes.
800
I'm
million
gonna be
dollars.
doing this every broadcast. You know it.
I had more hope in 2001 and 2010 teams than this, but I still believe in Bryce. Build around Bryce, Derek Brown, and Frankie Luvos. You got a comment on that?
Yeah, I mean, this touches base on the fact that people feel that this is the worst season in Panthers history, and there are many justifications for it. I mean, we feel like at least with 2010, we were losing for a reason, right? We were able to get the number 1 overall pick. This go around here, we don't even have our first round pick, and yet we have the worst record in the NFL. And yesterday's loss kind of cemented that fact that, hey, this is it right here. This can't get any worse than what we're seeing right now. And yeah, I mean, it was a pretty ugly loss yesterday, and it kind of just put the cherry on top for the end of this season to come. Like right now, we needed to come now. I think we're all ready for things to wrap on up here.
What about the guys he's suggesting to build around? What do you think about those?
Yeah, I think especially in Frankie Lou's case, for a guy that came in last year and really tore it up. I mean, he was a name that nobody knew until the Panthers made a move and got him from, I believe it was the Jets last year, and had a crazy season. And he's due for a contract extension. So definitely a guy that you need to keep around. Derek Brown, another guy as well. You got to keep your core guys around. Those are players that you have to build around for sure.
And always appreciate it. Love it to the fullest.
Woo!
Super chat.
That had some extra bass to it. Oh my! Wow.
And he's a member, so let's give him some more. All
right.
Why don't we have a kicker? So we do have a kicker. Why don't we have a secondary kicker? Even if we did have a secondary kicker, he would not have been active yesterday. You were only going to have one active for the game because of that position. So it's a fair question because I'm, during the game myself, I'm kind of thinking like we don't have anything else that we can do. We're going for these fourth downs, and the reality of it. I'm sorry, I'm taking this away from you, Andre. Is that
it's all good.
We do have Kamau Gruber-Hill that could kick, and possibly Hecker that could kick. But the thing is, those guys aren't going to be booting 40-yard field goals, 45-yard field goals, but maybe even 35, right? Now, 25, 30, extra points, yeah, your other guy that may have done some kicks during the week, he can come in and kick that, and you have some decent confidence, even if it's 50-50. But in the case of yesterday, where we really weren't getting in the red zone, and you're like, oh, we can kick a field goal, it would have been a long field goal and something that you just can't have a wide receiver, a linebacker that is capable of kicking, come out and try to do, because if that kick gets blocked because he miskicked it, he's trying to kick it low and said all these things that kickers do, gets recovered by the other team, it could have been worse. So, Quentin, really, really appreciate you sincerely, man. One of our first members of the channel. I will play the video again before we get off of here of me and David Tepper talking pregame for those who may have missed that. So I will play the David Tepper, Chris Jenkins
interaction
here before we get off of here. And Man, I kind of forgot where it was. We'll go just a few minutes over. Might not even have to go a few minutes over. Knucklehead K said, I meant the coaching staff staying to work for next season, seeing how the owner is acting at this moment. Oh, so that's just a comeback
Okay.
from, well, so the coaching staff is going to be dictated by the new coach. So that's really going to dictate what happens is whoever the new coach is, he's going to be understandably given the right to decide who his coaching staff is. So this would not necessarily affect it. It's going to be more on who that new coach is. And hopefully that answers your question. If not, I know you're loyal, so come on again and ask us, and we'll talk about it more. I just want to make sure I get through everybody else, but thank you for the clarification on your question there. The Lions' Dan Campbell had almost the same record 2 years ago. They let him work. Now look at him.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
that's
they were in a pretty tough spot, kind of where Carolina is right now. But we don't have a Dan Campbell-like presence in that locker room right now. So until, we have that here in Carolina, I mean, hey, that's a fair comparison to make if we have that kind of person in the building. But that's the blueprint right there for this team to potentially go about if they wanted to follow that route there.
Yeah, and I'm not sure I understand the statement, but I feel like I don't fully understand where that statement is generated from. Is that to say keep Chris Tabor? Is that to say we should have kept Frank Wright? I'm not sure if there's some other context to that, Quentin, but I certainly understand what you're saying, which basically seems to be talking about patience.
Right.
So I'm going to get through two more here. Tepper needs to hire a GM and new team operations manager, then let them hire a coach. Then David needs to step away and just watch in the background like the majority of other owners. I'm ready.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we've been trying to say now for at least a couple of years now, but especially this year. When Frank Reich, earlier in the year in one of his pressers talked about the weekly meetings that he has with Tepper. I mean, yeah, you have that thought in your back of your head. It's like, he's always watching, he's always there, and you feel that pressure. And I think, some guys are made for it, some guys are not. But, generally speaking, you are fit better. You are a fit when you are better suited when people support you and give you the chance to work for yourself rather than being constantly watched and constantly being involved in other people's situations. So, all in all, he does need to take a step back and reevaluate how he deals with all aspects of the team.
Rich, this is further comment from Rich, we just read that comment from. He said he just found us today. Happy to find you. So, Rich, thank you for finding us. Make sure you like it.
Yes.
Subscribe. You already got a couple questions answered. So, what you see, we love to interact with our supporters. So, thank you for finding us and Happy New Year to you. And last one, before I play the Chris Jenkins and David Tepper tango, Richard Peering, my list of potential head coach and GM pairing hire if it was me: Ben Johnson, who's currently demanding $15 million, and Ray Agnew, Mike McDonald, Joe Hords, Bobby Slowick, and Adam Peters. There you go.
Okay. Those are some names. I think Adam Peters is an assistant GM with the Chiefs, I want to say. That's the only name right now that rings bells. The other, what is that, 4 or 5? I know Ben Johnson's the head coaching candidate, but the other 4, I would have to do more research on to really get a gauge for how I would feel about those folks being considered. But those are some options that could be out there for Carolina.
Yeah, and I just now got the request to turn my mic up. Unfortunately, the show is about over. So
better late than never, right?
Yeah, I will turn it up. But, we say here at Charlotte Vibe, you guys are kind of like our production assistants. So if there's ever anything that, seemed a little quirky with you, the audio, the video, whatever it may be, don't hesitate to let us know. We actually do rely on your feedback for things like that, so we can make sure
We
that
sure
we're
do. Yes.
still putting out a good quality product for you guys. So before we end, we're gonna play, due to slightly high demand, that video one more time of David Tepper and myself. Now, don't get confused as you're watching this, because you're gonna see Andre on the screen as well. And you're like, hey, what am I watching? All of this split screen and everything is yesterday at the Jacksonville Jaguars game. And here you go. Here's Mr. Tepper that's gonna walk by. Let me see if I'm gonna get him to wave. David Tepper's gonna wave. Just get a wave?
What?
I just want to get a wave.
Want me to wave like this?
Oh, there you go. Oh, no.
I tried to pause this so you guys can see it, but just count the guys behind me. I forget who earlier mentioned about the security. It's 4 guys, and none of them look like they're, I don't even know how to describe it. They look very casual, but it's 4 guys, and trust me, they don't move unless Tepper moves. He never has to call security, but here's the rest of the video. You gotta just come back on this.
He wants to be your cameraman.
Just a wave right there. That's all I want.
Now you're asking too much. Why don't you go back there and wave, and I'll talk here. Go ahead, you wave.
There you go, man.
Every time it gets me. Every time. Every time.
I got to go back and watch it in slow-mo. I don't remember exactly how he took my microphone. I don't know if he did he like push me and then take it, or did he I'm just
he took it like he threw that cup, man. He took it with some ferocity, man.
Ferocity. All right, man. Good show. Man. We got one more game left, but we have plenty of content and coverage to come. So once the season ends, please don't tune us out. We still have the coaching search. We still have the combine. And then once the off season, I guess, ends and picks back up with the new season, we have when the yes, we do have the draft. Thank you, Andre. We have the draft, and after the draft, we have the rookie workouts or something they're called. I forget what those are called.
Right.
The rookie workouts, and then we'll go
rookie mini camps.
Yeah, and then we'll go into the OTAs, and then we will have what everybody knows about, which is training camp, which will be, and well, they haven't announced yet, so I don't want to lie to you about where that's going to be, but a lot of it should be in Charlotte for that training camp that's going to take place. Also, the Carolina Panthers have not responded to the video of David
That's
Tepper
the big one right there.
All right, so I know wait to the very end, but it always pays to watch to the end. The Carolina Panthers team organization has not responded despite being contacted at their PR department. No response to the video. Now the NFL has responded and saying that they are aware of the video, but again, nothing from the Carolina Panthers. They did not have any kind of media availability today due to the holiday. Tomorrow, Tuesday, is always an off day, so there's nothing that's gonna, something could pop up, but there's nothing that has to pop up until Wednesday, and at which time we'll have a chance to speak with the coach and the players. Again, not a guarantee that we'll get anything, but just another time that you can look to say there may be some more information coming out about this thing. So that'll be it. Andre, I appreciate you staying 10 minutes over. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. So for
Absolutely.
Andre Cassidy, I'm Chris Jenkins. Once again, happy 2024.